What up, Internet? I just want to touch base, give you an update video. This is going to be awesome. Behind me, the first set of our ICF DIY, very nearly solo ICF build is poured. It's in the books. But we're gonna kind of roll back the clock. I want to talk a little bit about the importances of prep work and the things we did to get ready for our pour day. So I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna film some stuff. I've got some stuff from what I've been doing. It's been a while since you've seen an update video. It's been great. You can ICF. Listen, this is something you can absolutely do. I'm happy to help you. I'm willing to say that now that we've actually successfully gotten to do this. It went so good. Our pump truck driver was an absolute joy to work with, and just could not ask for more. Chris over at Roast ICF, Pool Supply, those guys are cream of the crop. They're just absolutely wonderful. Could not ask for better help through all of this. So you guys come along with me. Let's take a look at what you got to do to get ready for your pour. We got the first 11/6 of our pour, our walls poured, and so there'll be another 7/6 over the top of that. All right, when in doubt, bucket some more. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got going on here. So we went ahead and used our Fox Bucks. You've seen us use these before on some of the other video stuff. And then we bucket again with our bracing. So we got our 2x12 bracing coming up here, and then we got to support that to make sure that the concrete can't push it in. Remember, there's a lot of hydraulic pressure happening right here. It's very important. Okay, so we got good cross members. And we needed to make it so that I could still get in there. And I'm a big dude, if you haven't noticed. So I made it basically the smallest hole that I could make to be able to still get in the house. Okay. Now, there were 2 more verticals and one more horizontal up there. Okay. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 verticals in the middle, and we had 2 horizontals here. So this door is typical to what all the other bucking looks like. I'll take you on a tour. The windows were actually bucked out more productively. I was a little worried about this. I was worried that it was gonna bow here, but it did not, and it makes me really happy to say that it didn't. So that's really great news. So, but when in doubt, bucket some more. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical on the side, 5, 6 verticals, because I did 2 more in the middle. 1 across the middle to keep this from happening. These are obviously here to keep that from happening. We did some strong backs up at the top. The nice thing is we had gobs and gobs of scrap lumber. If you're doing this for the first time, you're gonna be going through a lot of lumber. I would say hold on to it. The nice thing is I've got a couple more windows this size to do upstairs when we do the next set of walls. So when these get taken apart, they're gonna get saved. Because I'll just use, especially these pieces, our bucking pieces, they're gonna get saved. We'll use those again. I wasn't necessarily all that concerned about up there, just because, you know, yes, there's a lot of weight up there, but not nearly as much weight as would be pushing here. There's just so much concrete in this wall, and the hydraulic pressure here is a lot higher than the maybe, you know, 36 inches of stuff up there. But we also just didn't want to take any risks. We had plenty of scrap. So all the windows are going to look just like that. This came together super duper weird, and I just acknowledge that it did. I wish I would have done this way later in the game, but it's very windy. I may have to do the voiceover for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wish we would have been 8 verticals, even though it wasn't a problem. So one of the things that you kind of have to look at, and I'll take you over to another window and I'll show you how this goes. Actually, let's just get closer to this door. Everywhere it says Fox blocks, that's where your polymer ribbing is, okay? And you can screw there, okay? But sometimes, depending on where your door falls in your wall, your distance from the edge of a polymer ribbing to the edge of your block where it gets cut right there, that changes. And if this is greater than 6 inches, you have to scab. And so it just keeps that wall from popping out because these blocks are designed to stay together with that polymer webbing. You start altering where that polymer webbing goes, and you're gonna be messing with some design stuff, right? So I just went ahead and I just grabbed all the scrap I could find, and we screwed to that closest fox buck, and then we screwed into this wooden planking here. And there's a couple of other places. This was one that this distance was greater than it was actually right at 6 inches or maybe 6.5. So we went ahead and shored that up. So over here is a common joint or a bastard joint, depending on what you want to call it. Different companies or different standards will call it different things. And there's going to be one per wall, unless if you got with Chris and found out the dimensions that would be exact. There are going to be phases of dimensions where you could go in a box and the fox blocks would work themselves out. But you're going to probably end up with common joints. Okay, I have one on every wall. I have a long one on each short wall, and then I have a short one on the long walls because I was smart enough on the long walls to put them with a door. Honestly, this should be right over there on that window. Would have saved myself a gob of trouble. So don't put your bastard joint or your common joint in the middle of your wall, because it's just going to be a lot more work. You got to foam that joint. You got to scab that. You got to scab a lot more of that joint, where you could put it on a window or a door, and at least that window or that door is work you don't have to do. Okay, so because this is our kitchen area, you'll see there's a lot of stuff going on here penetration wise. Now, if you remember, if you've been watching the videos, that penetration over there is our for our propane to come up later. We'll fish a flexible gas line up through some conduit that we laid in this floor. And then you'll see the two gray, those are gonna be water penetrations that come up from inside the floor. Okay, but all of this really had to be done. Okay, so our drains go down into the floor as well. But all of this had to be done prior. We want an outdoor kitchen on the back side of this wall. Okay, so I needed a drain that can come and tie into this drain. Okay, also that's going to give me access to some venting. We'll do vent outside through this guy here. We wanted to be able to run water through the wall, tie into this water, hot and cold outside. And all of these penetrations have to be done, you guys. I know there's a lot of companies that will tell you that penetrations aren't that big of a deal. You just hire a boring company, and they'll come in and they'll drill your holes for you, and everything will be fine. I'm just going to tell you that will cost you thousands of dollars, and I may have $200 in PVC and caps. And did I need to put the caps on? No, but I just wanted to protect most of these penetrations. All right, so up here we used some 6-inch sewer pipe. And we just use that because we know that our stove is gonna go here. We're gonna wanna vent, be able to vent our range hood out to the outside, because we don't wanna just circulate through the weird little metal filter range hood, right? We wanna actually be able to pull, God forbid, smoke, but steam, moisture, odor, things like that out of the kitchen, out of the house, and push it outside. So then you have to decide, well, what range hood do you want? And then when you decide what range hood, how many CFMs does it take? And then once you decide how many CFMs it'll take, it'll tell you how big your penetration is. So all you have to do is just think slightly ahead. You're playing chess, not checkers. Let's talk a little bit about, you're gonna watch me put up the rim joists and potentially the first stair stringer. Let's talk a little bit about the stair stringer. All right, everybody. So we wanted this stair stringer to be anchored into the concrete. Did it have to be? Absolutely not. But we just wanted a little bit of anchor to the concrete. That's going to help the stairs not pull away from the wall. That's going to help with sag in the future. Many of you are asking, why did we put regular lumber up instead of treated? Isn't that making contact with concrete? No, because we put flashing. Let me show you what we did. As you're watching the time lapse, we put this this sticky. It's not a Huber product, so I'm not going to say that it's zip. It's just it's a very sticky, like a zip product. But we put this window flashing on the back of those boards. Every place you see bolt and nut, that's a J bolt or a J anchor, and there's a big chunk of this behind there because we punched those holes. I got a little happy. Those were all anchor holes, and so I realized I didn't need them, so I just glued them back in with the spray foam. That worked wonderfully. I was actually kind of a little bit nervous I was going to punch back out, but it didn't. So it was great. We had a great time. All of this worked out really, really well. So I'll show you the process time lapse of putting in this ledger board.
I feel like I have to mention right now how little fun it is to punch these holes. A 6-inch hole saw into styrofoam is really, really tough. It wants to grab the drill. A couple of things that I learned: you want to lubricate the hole saw with a little bit of silicone lubricant, and you want to make sure you're running the saw backward. I did figure out along the way that I could go a lot faster.
Okay, the next fun that we are about to have, we are going to put some blocks up. These are just temporary. They're going to be a little bit more apparent of what they're for when we start putting up this ledger board. So, just like so. This doesn't have to be super complex.
Now, which way does the board go, though?
That's fine. It's just right in, just like that.
Go in there?
That'll do. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, up we go. Remember to lift with your back, not with your legs. I'm kidding. You gotta set that up there so you get on the ladder? Yeah. Okay. Double step. Alright, now, can you just hold it right there while I get on the ladder? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get it a little more level up. Take it away from the wall, turn it up, move it into position. Hey! Check out how smooth. It's like we're getting pros at this, dude. Alright, are we all the way into the corner?
Yep.
No, we don't need to move it in at all?
No, I got it all.
All right, let's talk a little bit about bracing. And quite frankly, I don't know that I've seen a lot of videos that do a really great job of talking about it. There's lots of videos that'll show you how to install the fab forms on Zuckles. And then you see a finished product. And I just want you to see there's a handful of things you need to know, okay? Especially if you're building solo, if you're building DIY, maybe it's just you and your wife, those kinds of things. You might be going a lot slower than a crew, okay? So as your boards sit in the weather, they might get a little bit more bendy, okay? And so one of the things I want you guys to see, and this was a full credit to the grumpy old man, full credit. He was here helping us pour, worked him like a rented mule that day. Thanks, Dad. Really, really appreciate all the help. But this was the grumpy old man's total save the universe. So as a board began to bow, we just got another board that also bowed. We screwed them together and then we locked them to a third. And then there's like 2 screws in each of those boards. And that really allowed those boards to do the adjustments that they needed to do without putting a big bow or a big bend in that board. There's a couple of other places that we did to fix that as well. I'll show you that too. But you're going to need to brace the bracing, okay? I cannot tell you enough I can't tell you how important that is. You will be bracing your bracing. There's 2 ways we did it, okay? So maybe you can see this. Do you see how this board has got a bow in it? Okay, so here's how you deal with that. You can screw on a strong back either on the top or on the bottom. My dad didn't want to reach up high, so he stuck it on the bottom, and it just rigided that board up really, really hard. This, I think, is the better plan. Let me show you what he did versus what I did, okay? So this was my plan right here. As you can see, this board got a weird in it, and we decided to go ahead and just scab on one of these guys. And we just screwed it into place in probably, I don't know, 8-10 places up there. And that worked really, really nicely, but it didn't work as well as screwing the strong back on like what Dad did. All right, see, now you can see that we grabbed a long one and we linked 4 together. I just want to emphasize the fact that you're going to be bracing your bracing, okay? You can see that we did it on every single wall. There was bracing on every single wall. In fact, there was one over here that my dad didn't like so much that we actually doubled up and we threw a whole nother Zuckle. Glad we had plenty. Thanks, Roast. They made sure we had all the stuff we needed. It was really, really wonderful. And he went ahead and just threw another one on so that it could back up this one. This one was slipping really badly. Can you tell how soft that dirt was? And it was just taking off on us. So I can't tell you how important it is to have a little bit of extra stuff floating around on pour day. You're going to be scrambling. Make sure you invite lots and lots of friends over to help out. Here's another one of the braces that I did. In my opinion, this was too short. Okay, we should have just doubled that board all the way up. Okay, and again, it just worked so much better to do the strong back side. Can you see how wacky this one got? This one was just so out of kilter. I don't know if I can get you a really, yeah, there you go. Check out how arched that thing was. Let's talk a little bit about this corner of my catwalk right here. I'm positive this is not OSHA approved, so if you're not a homeowner, you're not going to be building it like this. You'd probably have some kind of down leg on this. But I've kind of come to start saying it like this. There's a short side and a long side. And as long as the long side sits on top of the short side, we had no problems. I'm 325 pounds. And I walk those corners over and over and over and over again. Get ready. You can do this. If you're sitting in North Carolina going, I need to build a hurricane proof home. If you're sitting in Florida looking at rebuilding your house, you should absolutely be looking at ICF. You should be talking to Roast ICF and Pool Supply in Missouri. They're a ways away, but they're not very far from us. And it's super duper easy. They deliver all over the country. They are a national distributor of, I think they've got multiple blocks, I think, but mostly I recommend the Fox blocks, especially for homeowners. It's just so easy. So you guys, if you're looking at building a house, whether you're hiring a contractor, and you should reach out to me. We should talk a little bit about what it's like to hire an ICF contractor. You know, maybe some of you are getting up there in age. I can tell you that these blocks are 6 pounds a piece. They're not heavy. But maybe you don't want to be climbing ladders. But a lot of you aren't building 2-story houses either. A lot of you guys are building ranch homes. If this was a ranch style home, man, this would have been easy peasy to frame this up. They've got corners, they've got archways, they've got, I mean, it's the bomb. They've got everything. If you live in the Keys, Florida, if you live in, you know, the tippy top of Seattle, Washington, you can build ICF through Roast. They are doing a great job. This is not a paid ad, you guys. They didn't pay me to say this. I paid my dollars to buy this stuff. Ask Chris when you call him. I gave them my monies to do this. But I just can't tell you the friendliness, the helpfulness, the hand holding, you guys. These guys are customer service geniuses. And it means that they'll do your math for you. They'll tell you how many blocks. I mean, Chris just came the other day and delivered the next round of blocks. These are some of the leftover blocks from my corner blocks, but they just delivered my next round of straights so that I can build my next floor and build out the butcher shop. It's gonna be awesome. But guys, you don't want to miss out on talking to them. I wouldn't talk to anybody else, really and truly, because they can help you no matter where you live in the United States. So yeah, you guys, I can't tell you how excited I am. This went so stinking well. I know it looks all crazy and weird right now, and it's gonna look crazy and weird for a while. Next thing we're gonna go do is get in there. We're gonna build a wall, and then we're gonna set in here. I'll save that for the next video. So much fun, you guys. Stay tuned. If you watched the video all the way to here and you haven't hit subscribe yet, hey, hit subscribe, you guys, please do. Just so you know, if you've been a longtime subscriber, there's a store coming. Yeah, so you'll be able to get some Free State Homestead merch. Probably not this merch. This is a Brunt hoodie and they're stupid expensive. But there will be some hoodies. For those of you who are devoted fans and you want to support the channel, you know, want to buy a bag of feed for the piggos, or you want to buy some feed for the chickens, or you know, a bale of hay for the lamb, you can pick up a hoodie and it'll be super big helpful. Also, I just want to remind you guys, if anybody's in the market for a 5-ton MTV, my heart is breaking, but Exodus is going down the road. So reach out to me if you're shopping for the ultimate bug out vehicle. I'm bugging in, so this is where we are. I love you guys, but that love pales in comparison to how much God loves you. So rest in that love today. Hope you learned something. Hope you learned that you can do this. Peace.